hate me, don't you?
You are now tuned in to Kons podcast.
The beat collectors. You hate me, don't you? You hate me, don't you?
Steffon Diggs, you know what I mean? Steffon Diggs is facing strangulation charges and assault charges from a former chef. Said she wasn't paid. This was about she was sending him this salary. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to have a team or somebody else supposed to be doing that. You know what I mean? Unless you was getting involved with her. You know what I mean? And y'all was getting a new search is being conducted for that Malaysian flight. The Malaysian flight that just disappeared. Flight MH370. I think it disappeared. It was back in 2014. We just don't know what's happened to it. You know what I mean? So it's always been a huge mystery. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully with the tech and all the technological advances, robotic work and all that they got nowadays. New cases, new David case updates. You know what I'm saying? New David case updates. Now they saying David is going to be indicted for the unaliving of Celeste Rivas by the LA County Grand Jury. I'll let y'all know. Incinerator in your house. Like, why you got that? It just raises all kind of questions. You know what I'm saying? So now they are getting closer. TMZ put out that they said he's more likely going to be. So new updates on as Anthony Joshua, two people that was unalived was unfortunately his trainers, strength trainers, and close friends. Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? You know what I'm saying? It's Kons Podcast episode 345 today. You know what I mean? Episode 345. Episode 345 today, though. You know what I mean? Got a few little updates for you. You know what I mean? In case this your first time here, you know what I mean? Wonder what we do. This is where we go over the news, go over the headlines, go over what is happening, what is going on, whatever headlines you might have seen. Whenever you logged onto your computer, whether your home page is MSNBC, Yahoo News, Google News, Yahoo News, you know what I'm saying, Hip Hop DX, wherever it is that you get your headlines, I'm probably touching on 1, 2, or 3 of them right here on Kons Podcast, you feel me? So share this out, tell your peoples about it, you know what I mean? And let me keep you updated on this wicked world, you know what I mean? But yeah, though, got a few little topics today, just a few little topics today, you know what I'm saying? Probably gonna not do too much editing on this one either. It's gonna be a straight cut, you know what I mean? Not too much cuts. But in case you missed the last episode, though, you know what I'm saying? Episode 344, well, I let you know, you know what I mean? Just if you forgot or if you might have forgot what was going on or what was said on the last episode, just a quick little recap, everything I let you know. So last episode, I let you know about Tyler Perry. Got a new lawsuit by a dude named Mario Rodriguez from the set of the Madea movie called Boo. Said he was SA-ing him and grooming him, touching on him and all that. Suing for 77 M's. Also let you know about Vince Zampella, who is the creator of Call of Duty, also the founder of Infinity Ward, and also the creator of Apex Legends. You know what I'm saying? He also has work to do with the Battlefield games as well, has passed away in a crash, you know what I mean, that we all seen. And also let you know the boxer Anthony Joshua was in a fatal car accident, lost 2 people over in Nigeria, you know what I mean? A bunch of conspiracies is going around about him fighting Jake Paul and this and that, you know what I mean? We also going to touch on updates on that as well in today's episode, you know what I mean? Who the 2 people was that was unalived in the car accident. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was last episode, you know what I mean? Today, for episode 345, you know, since we got a couple little topics, a few little updates for you, we're going to definitely touch on that Steffon Diggs, you know what I mean? I'm definitely show you clips, we're going to touch on that, facing strangulation charge, and also some assault charges, misdemeanor assault charges said from a former chef. We're going to touch on, they also putting a new search together for that Malaysian flight that just disappeared. They going on a search for it once again. Also some new David information on that David case I got for you, and some new updates, as I said, on the Anthony Joshua crash. You know what I mean? Who the 2 people were that was unalived in that crash. You know what I'm saying? That's everything we're going to be touching on today. You know what I'm saying? That's everything we're going to be touching on today with episode 345. You know what I mean? But thank all y'all for tuning in, man. You feel me? Without no more further ado, no more chit chat, banter. You know what I'm saying? Let's hop right into these topics. You feel me? So Steffon Diggs, you know what I mean? Steffon Diggs is facing strangulation charges and assault charges from a former chef. Said she wasn't paid. This was about, she was sending him texts about, I guess, why she wasn't paid. This was a dispute about salary. Chef claims he didn't cater to her room, which was an unlocked April and confronted her about the text that she was texting him about being paid. She said one thing led to another. He became violent and slapped her and ended up choking her from behind. Said she might have blacked out. Said he threw her on the bed and told her, I thought so. You know what I'm saying? The next little clips you're going to see is different little news clips and clips pertaining to Steffon Diggs' situation. Check them out.
Patriots receiver Steffon Diggs has been charged with strangulation and assault charges in connection to an alleged incident earlier this month. He is currently facing felony strangulation or suffocation and misdemeanor assault and battery. This alleged altercation took place in Dedham, Massachusetts on December 2nd, according to Boston 25. The details of the alleged altercation have not been revealed yet, but the Patriots organization did release a statement stating Steffon denies any wrongdoing and that they are standing by the whiteout. Here's the statement. Pause to read. This story is ongoing. We will update you with any of our first update in the case against Steffon Diggs and have found out that the alleged victim was his personal chef, whom he allegedly slapped and choked over a salary dispute. According to the narrative, the female employee first went to the police on December 16th and stated she was working as a private chef on December 2nd when Diggs entered her unlocked bedroom to discuss an ongoing text exchange between the two over money she believed was owed to her. She then claims Diggs became angry and smacked her across the face. She then also claims he tried to choke her using the crook of his elbow and that he was behind her with his arms wrapped around her. She said at this point she felt like she could have blacked out, but then she was thrown onto the bed and he said something along the lines of "thought so." The woman told cops she explained to Diggs she still hadn't been paid, but Diggs said lies and left the room. According to the report, she said she was hesitant to come forward due to Diggs being a member of the Patriots. She told cops that she started working with Diggs in July and was supposed to work through the 2025 season and was supposed to be paid weekly, but it got switched to monthly instead, and she had not received a monthly payment during the time of the incident. We will continue to update you with what we
definitely do clips. What's the Steffon Diggs situation? You know what I'm saying, man? Now this is wild. You know what I mean? Why these people, man, these celebrities, you know what I mean? They gotta learn not to touch people. You know what I'm saying? You got a team. You got to build that team. You know what I'm saying? Why are you approaching her about the salary? That should be somebody else dealing with that. You shouldn't have to approach her personally about this salary. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have a team or somebody else supposed to be doing that. You know what I mean? Unless you was getting involved with her. You know what I mean? And y'all was getting involved or something. You know what I'm saying? But you felt like you could personally approach her and she's just so chef. You know what I'm saying? So it just makes it look like something else might have been happening. You feel me? I ain't insinuating that, putting that out there, you know what I'm saying? But you need to have a team, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have somebody that approach you for that. You can't be the one to do it, you know what I mean? Because now you looking at this and all this and that. We don't know if she's lying or not, but this is what's in the public, and it create a headline about you feel me? And you done already been in headlines because you messing with Cardi B, you know what I'm saying? And then all your different baby mamas, and we done all seen the headlines and all the blogs and all that of people saying this and that, you know what I'm saying? With your name, you feel me? So you gotta have a better team, you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have somebody approach that, have somebody else come and talk about that, dispute that, you know what I'm saying? Instead of you personally going to her, you know what I mean? Losing your cool, let's say you did lose your cool, slapping her, choking her and all this and that, you know what I'm saying? Now you facing strangulation charges, you know what I'm saying? That's like a attempted body, you feel me? So you gotta be careful, you know what I mean? When you carrying a type of name like Steffon Diggs and you somebody that the world knows, you know what I mean? You gotta move a little different, you know what I mean? A new search is being conducted for that Malaysian flight, the Malaysian flight that just disappeared, flight MH370. I think it disappeared. It was back in 2014. It had 239 people on board. Flew over, shit disappeared shortly after it took off. I believe it was going to like China or something like that. It's only been a few fragments that have been washed up and found on shores. They said a new company called Ocean Infinity has underwater drones that can dive up to 4 miles deep. They'll be searching using different radars that detect metal to try to find out what happened to this Malaysian flight, and let alone the 239 people that was on board. You know what I mean? It's all kind of conspiracy going around on who was on that ship, on that plane, and why it disappeared and all this and that. You can look up them conspiracies if you like, you feel me? But these nice little clips you're going to see is just different little news clips on that. They are conducting a new search trying to find that Malaysian flight. Check it out.
One of the world's biggest aviation mysteries is being searched for once again. Nearly 12 years after Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 vanished, a new search is officially underway right now. Starting today, December 30th, a Texas-based robotics company called Ocean Infinity is headed back to the Indian Ocean to use upgraded underwater technology to look for the missing plane. Flight MH370 disappeared back in March of 2014, carrying 239 people from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing and was never found. Satellite data shows the plane veered off course, heading toward a remote stretch of the ocean where it's believed to have crashed. This new search will last 55 days, depending on the weather, and focus on targeted areas that experts say has the highest chance of answers. Over the years, some debris has washed up on shore, but the wreckage itself has never been found.
A new search for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 that disappeared in 2014 with 239 people on board is expected to begin today. The Boeing 777 vanished from air traffic radar 39 minutes after departing from Kuala Lumpur en route to Beijing, China. Now, more than a decade later, the Malaysian government and a private robotics company hopes technological advancements will help find the plane. CBS News foreign correspondent Rami Inocencio is following the latest from London. So, Rami, remind us the details of this plane mystery and what technology are investigators hoping will uncover more clues?
Lindsay, yeah, absolutely. Well, even though MH370 disappeared from civilian radar, as you said, military radar did see it turn west back over the Malay Peninsula and then south, and then, as we now know, into the Indian Ocean. And then a satellite heard pings for several more hours, but then those went silent. Then there was a nearly 3-year search over an area roughly the size of the state of Virginia. No wreckage we know was found, but just over a few dozen fragments believed to be from that plane did end up washing on beaches and on the shores along Africa's eastern coast for really a couple of years. But now this British-American deep-sea robotics company is called Ocean Infinity, believes that it has a chance at finally solving this mystery, this tragedy. For one, it's got some of the most advanced underwater drones now in the world. They can dive to 20,000 feet. That's about 4 miles deep. And they can stay down for more than 4 days using sonar to map the seabed, ultrasound to see under any sediment that might be covering any wreckage. Also, each drone has what's called a magnetometer. This is basically something that can detect metal from the wreckage. And if the company then finds any wreckage, the Malaysian government will pay out $70 million. But if none is found, then they don't get anything, Lindsay. But regardless, this is not a massive amount, really, for a search, really as massive as this you can see on your screen there. But there would be some kind of prestige, if you could call it that, and probably more business, because if they solve this, they would be solving really one of the biggest airline mysteries of the ocean, and really probably ever since
They conducting new searches using new tech, new equipment, new drones, new metal detectors, radars, and all that to try to find out what happened to this flight, let alone 239 people disappeared right along with it. You know what I'm saying? I still am confused about what happened to that flight. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Nobody really knows what happened to it. You know what I mean? But it just definitely disappeared. You know what I'm saying? We don't know where it went. If it crashed, we don't know if it just disappeared, if it just went through some type of portal. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's been going around since then. We just don't know what's happened to it. You know what I mean? So it's always been a huge mystery. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully with the tech and all the technological advances, robotic work and all that they got nowadays, and radars and detections and all that they can do under these waters, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully they can definitely find out what was going on with that Malaysian flight with this new search. You know what I'm saying? New company called Ocean Infinity. Yeah. New cases, new David case updates. You know what I'm saying? New David case updates. Now they saying David is going to be indicted for the unaliving of Celeste Rivas by the LA County Grand Jury. I let y'all know about a month ago how the grand jury was picking up this trial or this case. It was an investigative jury, they said, that was supposed to be calling people to the stand. Khadisha, I used a clip from Khadisha, man. She going to tell you that they also have people scheduled to come to the stand. I think one in January, she's saying, one in like far out is February. So, you know what I mean? I don't know what's going on with this, but it seems like definitely they are getting closer to indicting this dude for the unaliving of Celeste Rivas. You know what I mean? The next little clips you're going to see a clip from TMZ and also news clips and several different clips in Khadisha Land. Going to let you know further on this indictment on this David dude. Check it out.
Tell TMZ that singer David will likely face murder charges for the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez because the grand jury that's hearing the case will be asked to pass down an indictment. There was a report last month that the grand jury was an investigative grand jury. However, the grand jury that's been hearing witnesses in the Celeste Rivas murder is the one that will vote on indictments. Multiple sources also tell TMZ that the authorities, including prosecutor Beth Silverman, believe David was involved in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Information coming out about Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David. Now, according to TMZ, it's looking like the grand jury that's been investigating what happened to Celeste Rivas Hernandez is also the grand jury that is about to be asked to hand down an indictment against David for the unaliving unaliving of Celeste. We previously heard that this grand jury was only being utilized to subpoena witnesses to come testify about what happened and also collect evidence. Not only did TMZ put out an article saying that this grand jury is also now handling if they are going to indict David in the unaliving of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, Harvey Levin was so sure that he even doubled down on this on TMZ Live. He said that he was positive now that this grand jury was never just an investigation grand jury, that it is a grand jury that can also investigate, but they will look at all of the evidence and then indict David. According to the TMZ Live that I watched, elaborating and giving more details on this topic that they published, they also say that the grand jury is bringing people back in January to testify, but also they have someone scheduled for February. Harvey Levin did say on TMZ Live that he doesn't believe the person that is scheduled for February to come testify is somebody that is critical. And he said it is a possibility that they could hand down an indictment against David before this person is even scheduled to testify in February. According to TMZ, before this grand jury took the break for the holidays, one of the people that they subpoenaed to come testify was David's day-to-day manager, Robert Morgenroth. And we had TMZ reporting that they caught some things being said outside of this courtroom in the hallway dealing with Morgenroth. According to TMZ, they were saying that David's day-to-day manager, Morgenroth, was telling his lawyer that he was being grilled in the grand jury proceeding about why he didn't call police by prosecutors, and that he was saying that he didn't feel like it was his responsibility to call the police. Now, we don't know the context of this, of exactly why the prosecutors were grilling him about calling the police, but it is a pretty big deal because we know so far, based off TMZ's reporting, there are multiple people around David that have been questioned. And you also have to take this information with information that we've already seen TMZ report within the last couple weeks, that the prosecutors were handling Celeste Rivas's case as an unaliving case, and David was one of their main suspects. And I mean, honestly, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to have this type of viewpoint of this. I mean, you literally had this young child in the trunk of your Tesla. Now that everyone around David are the people that are being subpoenaed to this grand jury to testify, I'm sure that David feels the walls closing in around him. Like I said, in that TMZ Live, we got a little bit more details, and Harvey Levin said that he is confident that this grand jury was always a grand jury that was going to hand down an indictment if they believe that there was enough evidence to do so. So it seems like anytime after New Year's till possibly February, an indictment could possibly be handed down against David. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
It is not looking good for the singer David. From everything we now know, it is very likely, if not all but certain, that he is going to be indicted by a Los Angeles County grand jury for the presumed murder of Celeste Rivas.
This is a grand jury that has been convened since just over a month, at least, about a month ago.
Almost
more than that.
2 months.
Right. And that initially, what we had heard is that this was an investigative grand jury, that they were just subpoenaing different people to get testimony, hoping to help police with their investigation.
That was based on a newspaper report.
Right. And what we have now been told, no, this is a grand jury looking to indict someone for the murder of Celeste Rivas. And
we know who the someone is.
And that someone.
David is squarely in the crosshairs of the person who is going to be prosecuting the case. Her name is Beth Silverman.
Just let you know furthermore on this David case, you know what I mean? I don't really got too much more to say on this. I'm just following it, keeping y'all updated on it. You know what I mean? I think I said a long time ago, everything is leading to him that he did it. You know what I'm saying? Everything, any way you look at it, twist and turn, is leading to you have something to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, even down to an incinerator in your house. Like, why you got that? Yo, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? It's Kons Podcast interrupting this episode. You feel me? For you to hit that subscribe button if you ain't. You know what I mean? Hit that subscribe button if you ain't. Hit it already. You know what I'm saying? Go on and do that right now if you ain't. Tell your friends to hit that too. You know what I'm saying? Tell your friends to hit the subscribe button. Tell your cousins to hit the subscribe button. Tell your grandma. Tell your nieces. Tell your nephews. Tell everybody. Hit that subscribe button. You feel me? But yeah. That's all I wanted to say in the middle of the episode. Let's get right back to that.
Don't
It just raises all kind of questions, you know what I'm saying? So now they're getting closer. TMZ put out that they said he more likely gonna be indicted for the unaliving of Celeste Rivas, you feel me? New updates on this Anthony Joshua crash, the one I just covered yesterday about him having that horrible crash in Nigeria. And I told you 2 people was unalived right along in that crash with him as he walked away. You know what I'm saying? A lot of conspiracies going around about this is after he didn't follow the script, fighting Jake Paul and blah, blah. All the conspiracies are going wild, you know what I'm saying, after this one. I did see an interesting one, though, how they was talking about how everybody who fought Jake Paul, something had happened to them afterwards, you know what I'm saying? So, but that's a story for another day. So, new updates on as Anthony Joshua, 2 people that was unalived was unfortunately his trainers, strength trainers, and close friends, Sina Ghani and Latif Latz, you know what I'm saying? TMZ reported on this and the updates. Check it out.
Updates in the tragic car crash involving Anthony Joshua. The fatal car crash claimed the lives of 2 people who we now know to be his strength and conditioning coach Sina Evolve Gami and his close friend Latif. Badu Jack, who is a 3-division boxing world champion, confirmed on Instagram that Latif, aka Latz, was one of the 2 people killed. In fact, Joshua's last Instagram story before the crash was with Latz playing ping pong. The Federal Road Safety Corps in Nigeria said preliminary reports show that Joshua was in the backseat of a black Lexus truck, which was suspected to be going over the speed limit. Several boxers shared their condolences, including Chris Eubanks and Jake Paul. We will continue to update with anything we learn.
You know what I mean? That was updates on the Anthony Joshua situation. You know what I'm saying? That was updates on his 2 friends that was unalived. You know what I mean? That was just a quick little update on that. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they lost their lives. You know what I mean? But that's wild. That was just some updates. You know what I mean? Just update, keeping you updated on that. I said they didn't release who the people was. You know what I mean? But the video that you seen that they shown him playing table tennis with the dude was one of the dudes who was unfortunately unalived in this horrific crash, you know what I mean? But I touched on all that yesterday. I just wanted to update you on who those 2 people was, you know what I mean? But that's all I got for today, you know what I'm saying? It's episode 345, you know what I mean? Episode 345, you know what I mean? Thank all y'all for tuning in, you feel me? Now, in case you might have pulled up too much, got a little too drunk, maybe you rolled up too much, you got a little too loaded, you feel me? Maybe the kids was upstairs fighting over who turn it was, fighting over Minecraft, Roblox, whatever the case may be, you had to step away. You know what I'm saying? And you forgot or you didn't realize or it exited your mind what I just let you know. So in case you forgot or had to go do that, tend to the kids, whatever it may be, this is everything that we just went over, you feel me? So I just let you know that Steffon Diggs facing these strangulation charges, you know what I mean? And also these assault charges with his former chef. Also let you know they conducting a new search for that Malaysian flight that disappeared, you know what I mean? Also let you know these new updates on the David case that he is more than likely going to be indicted. And also let you know new updates on that Anthony Joshua crash that happened yesterday. Unfortunately, it was 2 of his friends that lost their life in that crash, you know what I mean? But that's everything. I just let you know, you know what I'm saying, for episode 345. Thank all y'all for tuning in. Thank all y'all for watching. You know what I'm saying? Because you could have been doing anything that you wanted to do, you know what I mean? No matter who you was, whether you was a little brother, little sister, whether you was a niece, a nephew, a uncle, a auntie, a grandpa, a grandma, a mother, a father, you know what I'm saying? You could be cousin Mookie, cousin Pete, cousin Man, you know what I'm saying? And if you got pets that's sitting there with you watching this podcast, you know what I mean? Whether your pet is a pet cat, it could be a pet dog, it could be a pet hyena, a pet hedgehog, a pet squirrel, you got a pet flying squirrel, you got an ant farm sitting in front of the TV, you know what I mean? You got a pet boar, a pet bearded dragon, an alligator, wherever your pet is, you feel me? If you petting them, watching the Kons podcast, I definitely salute to you, like you see the homie scrolling up that screen, you know what I mean? But thank all y'all for tuning in, thank y'all for watching. The beat you hear creeping up was made by none other than, you know what I mean, Infectious, a beat collector beats, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Infectious, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is Infectious finna talk to y'all in the background while these credits roll, my last little comments on these situations that we just talked about, you know what I mean? But thank y'all for tuning in, thank y'all for watching this Kons podcast. It's been episode 345. I'll see y'all next episode.
me, don't you? Wait 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 me, don't you?
That they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Wait me, don't you?
You understand that?
Wait me, don't you?